you leave me all alone. Stand by me and pray with me. I can't do this on my own. Walk with me, talk with me. Don't you leave me all alone. Stand by me and stay with me, 'cause I can't do this on my own. I've been down and I've been out. I've seen things no one should see, but I knew one day, come what may, that I'll sing a song of hope. Said I've been down and I've been out, and I've seen things no one should see, but I knew one day, come what may, that I'll sing a song of hope. Walk with me, talk with me, Don't you leave me all alone. Stand by me, stay with me. I can't do this on my own.
Your times of joy had been too brief. The threat of death posed by weapons made you leave your own possessions. But do not sink, you need to float. In times of need, I'll be your boat. Let's stand together, you and me. Address the needs of refugees.
Walk with me, talk with me. Don't you leave me all alone. Stand by me, pray with me. I can't do this on my own. Walk with me, talk with me. Don't you leave me all alone. Stand by me and pray with me. I can't do this on my own. I can't do this on my own. I need you. I need you. No, 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 no. Stand, pray. No. I can't do this on my own. I can't do this on my own.
We're all in this thing together until it's over, and it will be over soon.
No, I can't stand, pray. I can't do this on my own. No. I can't do this on my own. I can't do this on my own.
Where I'm going, it's enough, that's all I need for my journey. But You know, too many voices, too much noise. I beg, lower volume. Loud doesn't mean right, so keep quiet. Right doesn't even mean you are inspired. Back it up, rushing, running back to reality. My train cannot be too slow to reach my destiny. You moye, she wants you me. Dum la ranye penny wo, she dum she me. Yeah, you moye, she lives she me. Ini mini money mo, she lives she me. Who you are, who you are. Who you are, who you are. We do it different. Where you are, where you are. No, I can't different. Me tell you, you say feel you say you fine, you bring shine. Yeah, you say you fun, you took a make fun. Now what went wrong? That excitement's gone. The idea was to be happy, but my dad, he's not your daddy. I see young Molenchima, madam opportunist. You carry the cross, the bigger the cross, but so the greatest. You moyo, she lives in me, ini mini money mo. She lives in me. Who you are, who you are. Who you are, who you are. We do it different. Where you are, where you are. No, I can't different. Who you are, who you are. Who you are, who you are. We do it different. Where you are, where you are. No, I can't different. We do it different. Where you are, where you are. No, I can't different.
So, we get for the twitch, encourage for people, help for people, and for the kick out that land for these soldiers that be feeding with them. See what people that strategy. Listen, every one of them know that they are abroad. Like everybody call girls, so they will help on them. Look at if you visit some man's store, that's like for people that they make sure. Yeah, but the end man can get a la carte. Now, for big man can take you whatever drink. As you go in there, so I'll take some out of
Walk with me, talk with me. that I'll sing a song of hope. Said I've been down and I've been out, and I've seen things no one should see. But I knew one day, come what may, that I'll sing a song of hope. Walk with me, talk with me, Don't you leave me all alone. Stand by me, stay with me. I can't live this on my own.
Been through pain, been through grief. Your times of joy have been too brief. The threat of death posed by weapons made you leave your own possessions. But do not think you need to float.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You are on your program, The Horizon. We greet you from wherever you are, on ground zero, on ground one, in the Europe, in America, in Asia. We want to greet you all that you are watching the Ambazonian women, the voice of the Amba woman on ABC TV. We applaud you all for taking the initiative to be with us again this day, because the woman in the house, when the mommy is not in the house, there will not be food, nobody will be able to put things in order. The women are coming again to you this day to come and make their voice heard, to contribute to what is already being said, and to let you know on what side we are, because we ask ourselves, on whose side are you? Which side are you? Are you on the left? Are you on the right? Are you still confused? Are you in the middle? Are you contemplating? The mothers who understands the prank, the pains of childbirth, the pains of bringing up a child, they are here today to give you their opinion from their perspective, whatever is going on. We have a package full for you today. Just to give you a countdown, we will be talking on what the women think, what the women will let you understand what we understand by peace, what we understand by justice, what we understand by negotiations, what we understand by complete independence and our way to Boya. Ladies and gentlemen, you will realize that in the last months, last times, many people have been coming up and be talking to you about we are negotiating, but it is good to know whom you are listening to, what you have to do, what is the right thing to do, and where to lay, where to follow. Today with me in the studio, we are going to be discussing on two powerful ladies, wounded ladies in the revolution. They are bringing up their points. We're discussing it together on how the women view this particular times of talking of peace. There is no other than we have today with us in the studio Dr. Emma also with us. We have also Dr. Patience Abiedu, popularly known as Ma Patience. She's with us in the studio. We shall be sharing and discussing together. And ladies and gentlemen, the telephone lines will be put on. Do us well to call in, contribute, and give your own opinion. We do not know it all. We call on everyone to chip in their own part, and so we can together move on. I am going to call on Dr. Patience and Dr. Ozon to just come on and greet our people who are waiting to listen to them. Thank you.
Greetings from Southern California. I extend greetings to everyone in Amazonia, ground 1, ground 0, of course, all over the diaspora. I just want to take a quick moment for us to have a minute of silence. Today is September 11th in the United States of America, and we are all aware of what happened 19 years ago. Let's give a minute of silence to honor those who lost their lives during this horrific day 19 years ago. And also let's remember our own fallen heroes in Amazonia. So please, 1 minute of silence. Thank you so much. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. I greet you all again. Thank you, Ma Rachel. Thank you, Dr. Osong. We hope we have a very fruitful deliberation here today. Basically to educate our people what we really think peace is all about, the type of peace we as Amazonian women are looking for, because there are different types of peace. Over to you, Ma Rachel.
Yeah, thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma Patience. It is really true. What kind of peace are we looking for? Because peace to go left, peace to go to the right. We will share our opinion today to let you know where our peace, we are advocating our peace. So, Dr. Ozong, you can come and greet the Amazonian people.
If I'm on, because I'm not sure that
You're
I'm
on.
reaching. Okay.
You are.
Very well. I am. Thank you so much. Your voice is such a calming voice, my Rachel. Everybody listening to you that have been listening to you has the sense of your cry out as another mother. So I greet you, I greet your audience, and I join my patients today in a very interesting segue into our conversation by acknowledging that 19 years ago, 2,917 people, let's just say 3,000 Americans were mercilessly slaughtered on 9/11. That launched a war. America went to war. And I might add, on lies, and 45,000, I probably will be corrected on this number, of valiant American citizens died defending their country. Today, our people have been killed more than 3,000, and we are still waiting for the world to join us in saying, join us mothers, sisters, and aunties out there in telling the world that we cannot and will not stand idly by and watch our children, watch our mothers bury their sons and daughters, watch entire villages wiped out. So this legacy of war, we are standing in this year, Marichel, to tell everybody that we are not willing to bequeath a legacy of war to our children, and that those of us who do not have a barrel of the gun at our heads, that is, those of us who are fortunate enough to be in a country where our voices can be heard and we are not under the brutality of the bee, we're joining our voices together today, my Rachel, to cry out for our sisters and our mothers out there who cannot do the same, and say we stand in solidarity with them on such an auspicious day as 9/11, to come out to them, not so much to say we are telling them anything new, but that we stand in solidarity as women for permanent peace based on justice. And I want to add, before I turn it over, Rachel, that We have seen in the past 4 years and counting that we have gone past kumbaya, where we seek to hold each other's hand. That time may never come on our watch. So we mothers are impatient, Rachel. That's the conversation we want to have amongst us today. And for if you haven't shared this link with your friends, you're not doing us a service. We'll continue to speak. We cannot run and hide from war. We cannot play it away and delete it from our phones. We cannot say that's your Amba thing, because it is war, it is death, it is our children. We cannot pray it away simply, although we serve a powerful and mighty God. We cannot vex it away in our systems, and we cannot hide from it. So mothers are coming from the woodwork, from wherever they were, emboldened by one single thing. We want peace, permanent peace based on justice. Not 10 years, not 20 years like the South Sudanese did, but now. And how do we get to there? My Rachel.
Excellent, Dr. Emma. Thank you very much. It is so inspiring that even though I'm smiling, my heart is bleeding because it is really an outgoing that how can a mother sit at home? There is this famous Chinua Achebe that an adult does not sit quiet and watch when the host suffers childbirth. Ambazonia is birthing, rebirthing, let me put it so, itself. And the pain it is undergoing, she is undergoing. You can't tell me that, like a woman, you will just sit in place and do not rush with warm water, do not rush with a warm towel or a wrapper, or you will not, if that woman falls in the marketplace, you will not lose your own wrapper and connect with another woman to cover her so that she has that child. This is the cry that we mothers, women of Amazonia, we are crying out there that Amazonia is birthing. Should we together come out with our wrappers and cover her from the public? Or should we just watch and let her put to birth and no one to cut the umbilical cord and no one to carry the placenta and bury it where necessary? It is a question to every woman, to every mother, to every girl, every teenager. Please, we are discussing today just to rub minds. We do not know it all. This is one of my famous statements in this program. We do not know it all. The little we have, we are sharing. The ones you know, bring along so we can together tie the bundle. Dr. Ozon, you spoke of peace. There are so many peace platforms, even those ones that are just rumored. They are rumored here and there. Some people are gathering here to talk peace. These ones, they are gathering to talk peace. But we have one thing that Ambazonia, Southern Cameroons, former British Southern Cameroons, is this country that got its independence on the in 1961, 1st October. Independence. And we all know the history that has gone down the lane. How many years today? We say we want to go for a negotiation talk. We want to talk. We have cried out that let the talks not take place in Cameroon. Let it not take place in Nigeria, anywhere in Africa, because we know the experience with the Nigerian talks, how we ended up. Nothing came up. It is only in paper form. And they said we needed a mediator. And we now have it in one place. Dr. Ozon, you are in that place. What can you tell the Amazonian people? How far? How strong? How is the platform to let the Amazonian women know that this is where we should queue up? Thank you.
Yes, indeed, my Rachel. There is something called the Swiss Peace Initiative. And for those who have buried the non-existent dead process, are only biting their noses to spite their faces. And again, I am not clairvoyant to tell the audience that this thing is their thing. But we know, as they say in a common language, that a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. We have labored for almost going on 60 years to make the case for our annexation by not only the former colonial masters, but what people generally call the neo-colonialists, of which our neighbor to the east, Cameroon, is one of those colonialists who have decided that we are a second-class citizen. Our fathers lobbied the international community that they should hear our concerns so that we should not be where we are today, which is war. So those things laid unanswered, and for the first time in nearly 6 decades, the international community finally said this is not going to go away and decided to bring it into the international fora. So we are literally at what I would call a pivotal moment where our concern has been removed from the domestic realm, where we never saw any headway. Rather, we are now in a war and have lost nearly 15,000 of our brothers and sisters. So it is in the international realm. A country has stepped up and offered its good offices to mediate. Some of our brothers and sisters, and also supported by some of our women, are saying that they don't want it. So we are saying that as Ambazonia Southern Cameroonian women who are facing the brunt of the war that La République is persecuting on us, we stand without fear or favor or persecution, because we are already being persecuted, those on ground zero, to say we support the Swiss-led process to its logical conclusion. And we will be vigilant as we organize, my Rachel and my patients, to amplify the woman's voice in any peace process going forward. We will remain vigilant in that if a process is not supporting our clear objective of not being a second-class citizen, of having a sovereignty return, we will support the next internationally backed or endorsed peace process. We are saying that to not support the Swiss process is to give avenues and opportunities to domesticate our problem. And for 60 years, we have seen one creative solution after another, my brothers and sisters, offered by Yaoundé. So this takes me to your second comment there about we see many platforms come up for peace. Yes, there is peace, and then there is peace. The kind of peace we are agitating and militating for, which I'm sure you will give us an opportunity for Mape and myself to respond on that, on what W4PPJ is that they are advocating for a peace within the ambit of La République du Cameroon, the kind of peace that is decreed from Yaoundé. We are saying that the kind of peace we are agitating for and dying for is the kind of peace that resolves our problem by addressing the root causes. Right now, there is a Swiss-led peace process. It may be the baby that's not the perfect baby, but there are women, hundreds of them, committed to not throwing this baby out with the bathwater prematurely. We will remain vigilant. We are begging and appealing for those of us who have the ability to speak up, to think about our mothers and our children in the bushes who don't have anything, and prosecute this war at the international level so that, again, we don't bequeath to our children and future generation a legacy of war, because we went for a false peace at the barrel of the gun through coercion and through patronage. Finally, on the issue of mediation, mediators come in with the intention to bring parties to the table. They are not the international police that go around beating people into submission. It is for us to get the international community, the friends along the way who see the need for a permanent peace, to beat the heads of La République and make them come to the table. Because on our part, Ambazonia coalition Team Ambazonia has said we are willing to get to a negotiated solution, provided we do that within the ambit of internationally sanctioned peace processes, so that we look at this matter without fear of somebody hitting us about the head. And when agreements are made, Marichel, there are guarantors who can ensure the execution and implementation of those peace processes. So our appeal, our focus is very singular. We are refusing to play in the sandbox of power politics and ego, and zero in on how women can amplify their voices for peace, how women can connect with other talented women and wage peace, but not the kind of peace that we bequeath so that in 10 years again, there is another war in this place, in this construct called Cameroon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ozan. You have taken us ahead. Thank you very much for that. My patience, I will come to you. You know, it is always said that when a foundation is built on truth, when a foundation is built on what you really want, whatever will be erected on that foundation is going to have some lasting results. And when it started, by whom? So I would just like my patients to tell us what she knows. How far have we come with the Swiss talk, with the act? How far have we come in connection with with some other platforms that follow up after refuting to, like Dr. Ozo just said, um, taking it out prematurely, not getting to know what is inside. You just turn away your back. What background can you give us from the Swiss to my patients?
Rachel, thank you for that question. And I'm going to divert that question to Dr. Osong because she's been in ACT longer than I have. So she's going to have a stronger answer than I can give. But I want to change the topic slightly. We talked about achieving peace, and we talked about different forms of getting peace. Let's go to the very beginning. What has happened in Cameroon? Since this talk about peace started. First thing was the national dialogue, the Grand National Dialogue, which was a huge failure because no peace can come from talks that do not involve all parties, right? Because Ambazonians were not part of that conversation. So that is dead and buried. Then the only two other peace platforms that I know right now is ACT, Amazonia Coalition, the Amazonia Coalition Team, and then there's also Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiations, CDN. I really want to talk about that because I have some worries about it. Dr. Osong has said that we have to pursue the path that will take us to the best resolution, which is a permanent, lasting peace with justice. And those of us who are Ambazonian know that to get there, we have to go to the table and find the root cause of the problem. That is the bottom line to get the solution. Now, there's this other platform called Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation. And bear with me, if you go to their website, the first thing that strikes to me, it says a fight for justice and equity. A fight for justice and equity. When you think about justice, yes, justice is good in all fields. For us Ambazonians, we want justice. But when you think about equity Equity for who? Equity for who? It doesn't even say equality, it says equity. I went and looked at the definition of equity. Equity means the quality of being fair and impartial. Equality is typically defined as treating everyone the same and giving everyone access to the same opportunities. Equity refers to proportional representation by race, class, gender, etc. to those same opportunities. So this coalition for dialogue and negotiation is barely telling us that they want to fight for peace and justice with equity, meaning that we have to be in the same bucket with everybody in La Republic to achieve peace and equity and equality, which is wrong. But let me go further. When you want to find out who they are, so I want to do some differentiation here now because I'm really passionate about this. How do we differentiate Amba Senior Coalition Team from Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation? Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation is an international NGO with specific goal to facilitate dialogue and negotiation towards ending the Anglophone war in Cameroon. So their goal is to end the Anglophone war in Cameroon. It is made of professionals from all walks, over 20 organizations worldwide, advocating to end the Anglophone war. CDN members will work with partners to strengthen international involvement in resolving the conflict and building durable peace in the conflict affected territory. If you delve more into this, they are talking in the context of an indivisible Cameroon. They are talking about peace constructions in Cameroon. So that already is a problem that I see. And the reason we are saying this is that we as women for a long lasting permanent peace, we want to take a route that all Ambazonians, everybody who is standing for the independence of Ambazonia, will realize that there's only one route to take. You cannot go through Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation because in their own context, they want peace in Cameroon the way it is. So for them, there are two possibilities. There can be peace achieved where if the war ends and there's decentralization or there's federation, but peace comes about, they will accept that type of peace. But remember what my sister Emma said, you don't want peace that is short-lived. You want long-lasting peace. There's a famous saying by somebody that a peace that is gotten from compromise is short-lived. So that type of peace has to do with compromising to get certain things achieved, and it will not be long-lived. We want a permanent peace based on justice. Now, secondly, if you go to their history, and I want to go through this because it's important to compare between them with Team Ambazonia. A group of leaders began actively discussing the possibility of such a coalition in July of 2019. I'm saying July 2019. Okay. Team Ambazonia was already in motion early in March of 2019. Why was it necessary for a coalition of the negotiation and dialogue to start when there's already a Team Ambazonia? Why couldn't they have put all their resources to join Team Ambazonia because we all want the same thing? I want people to think about this because it shows that they already had a separate agenda. They did not believe in Team Ambazonia. If you believe in a group, you join that group, you don't form another group. Let me repeat. If you believe in what a group is about, or a team or a coalition is about, you join the coalition, the team that is already there. You don't start another one.
Right.
So that already tells me that there's a problem there. Okay, I'll go further. Their commitment. So they are committed. We reaffirm our deep commitment to organizing, advocating, and spearheading frank negotiations that would lead to a durable peace and lay groundwork for a robust, sustain economic recovery in the affected area. Listen to that. We reaffirm our deep commitment to organizing, advocating, and spearheading frank negotiations that would lead to durable peace and lay groundwork for a robust, sustained economic recovery in the affected region. So we already know that UNDP was trying to do some reconstructions recently, which doesn't make sense to reconstruct when there's war going. But see, a coalition for dialogue and negotiation is saying that once peace is achieved in the same area we're talking about, then they want to advocate for recovery and they want to do sustained economic recovery. We as Ambazonians, we've already made it clear that once we've gone to the negotiation table and we've achieved our independence, because it's clear that if you go and look into the root causes of our problem, and there are really frank discussions, La Republic should know that we want to be good neighbors with them. So if they are frank, right, and they want peace, and they come genuinely to solve the problem, then the outcome is that let's have a relationship with Ambazonia that will be good neighbors, will be peaceful neighbors. And after that, only then can Ambazonia decide how to do their recovery, economic recovery. You cannot talk about recovery in the context of one and indivisible Cameroon, because that's what the Coalition for Negotiation and Dialogue is doing. Maima, I don't know what you think about what I've said.
You've thrown the kitchen sink at them. Okay, so not to make light of what you've said, my patience, I want to start by saying that I am not going to take this forum to do an X-ray on the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation, not because we can't engage in that exercise. I would start by saying, in addition to what you've said, that what is their mandate? And as an NGO, they have complete free reign within the charter that they have for themselves to organize themselves as they see fit, and to identify for themselves the areas that they need to focus on. But to present to the Ambazonia people this bifurcation of another platform for dialogue, another platform for negotiation, is what I call competing agenda. And it's part of the trouble that we see plaguing this revolution, where instead of people genuinely wanting peace to rally around the best path to achieving that peace, we find this fragmentation going on. And I hasten to say, as someone who's taught conflict management strategies for nearly 10 years, that nothing is new about this revolution when it comes to multiplicity of voices. But for those of us agitating and advocating for our families who are being killed, because we are both victims and stakeholders in this, I want to believe in their good intentions, except that they are not aligning with the objective that we believe is the best to shorten this war. They are,
Absolutely,
as they say, muddling, confusing the international organizations that wish to help, to believe that there's too much fragmentation and there is too multiplicity of voices. Thereby, where are the levers for them to help us? Now, back to the Coalition for Dialogue, and they are associating with the retired Ambassador Cohen to even muddy the water by saying that we are not economically viable. Excuse me, if I choke on myself here. And that was not meant to to throw a shade. I really was choking. To align the retired ambassador, God bless his soul, Herman Cohen, to say that we are not economically viable, the same reason that the British gave for throwing us under the bus and walking away before the Treaty of Union was signed. Meanwhile, in 1959, or thereof, 57 to 59, It was clear that the soil under which our mothers stand and they are dying, the young men are dying, is endowed with oil, and that we are so rich in resources, we were not a burden to the purse strings of the queen. So to come 60 years again and go against Resolution 1514, and you can go read all the sections. I'm not going to burden the audience here with what that says about self-determination and rights to freedom and the choice of your own political destiny. We find people like Cohen in collaboration with the Coalition for Dialogue, telling us again that we must be shackled to a country that sees us as second-class citizens, that views us as rats, the terrorist, not because even we asserted our rights, but because that's what they have done consistently, beginning, dear audience, with the letter in 1967, which is now declassified, that the consular in Boya sent to his collaborator in Yaoundé, the ambassador chargé d'affaires or something like that, telling him on how to fully assimilate us and bring us under the yoke of the French. So to
Right.
the point about competing agendas and a supposed platform for peace, I respect the people who do what they do with the time they have. But I want to clearly state here that they do us no favor when 15,000 people are being killed, and we see that continuing today, by claiming a platform for negotiation for a peace process that does not exist. There is the Swiss-led peace process. As my patient says, if they are looking for a platform to bring peace to Cameroon, all that resource they have, if just imagine how much further we would have gone if that was channeled to see if in fact the Swiss process is the right platform, because we can do that. Right now, it is the platform and we are staying with it. And more to the point, the question of, as I said, the mandate and the question of competing agendas and the question of polluting the constituency space to believe that giving up what you already have is somehow a strategy in search for what you don't have. I would repeat here again, as I've heard some of our brothers say on other platforms, there is no other process. There is no American process. We don't say this as a pride of place. We don't say this because it is convenient to say it. We say it because it is a fact. And for now, until the process we have no longer serves us, doesn't it make sense for us to figure out how it can help our brothers and sisters go back to living a normal life and go back to the freedom that we have fought so much for? Finally, one last point, my Rachel. I know this is a conversation and it's not a monologue, but these are very heady issues, and they tend to create a lot of emotionality for those who are very, as they say, you get so close to the forest, sometimes you have to stand back to see the trees. But I hasten to say, and I'll say this, I haven't said this before, and it's going to catch me a lot of flack. The quote, Federalists are an Achilles heel to this peace process, and I'll explain myself before they come all over me. Why are they an Achilles heel? They have lobbied, going back how many years, to tie us to La République, one and indivisible agenda. They fought when we fought for our freedom, and they got us 10 regions in Cameroon. They fought when we were fighting to say we are a people who have rights to their sovereignty, and we were given that sovereignty just like the other guys across the Bongo east of us called the Republic of Cameroon. And they accorded us special status. They are fighting again to say that the problems of the North, the problems of Sangmalima, the problems of Bafusam are problems. that is fundamentally not addressing the root causes. This is the one an individual agenda. How can my house be burning and you call the whole neighborhood to decide whether the pots in their hands are the right pots to cook food for their masses? Let's be real, people. There is a, let me say this to all the people I respect out there who are doing what they believe they think in their heart are right, but you are not addressing our root causes and you're obfuscating the matter further. You can do your post reconstruction on how to rehabilitate a society. You can advocate for peace. Yes, there is never enough room for people to advocate for peace. We must advocate for peace, but don't confuse the matter. It is my house that is burning. Don't call a commission to litigate the problems why you don't have a green grass in front of your lawn or shrubs.
Let me just add something, Ma Rachel, quickly, please. I've always asked this simple question. I've always asked this simple question, and I throw this at the people that Dr. Osong just said are Achilles' heels. That if given the choice of independence and federation, why would anyone choose federation? I've never really had an answer to that question. If you are an Ambazonian or Southern Cameroonian, and you had these two choices given to you, why would you want to choose federation? So I say that this because, and I will call names, people like Fontem Ndeba are people that are really doing some damage behind the scenes in collaboration with Cohen that Dr. Osong already mentioned. Because if they are giving this picture to the international community that, oh, a federal Republic of Cameroon, a federation will be the solution, let's push for that, then they water down the fact that most Ambazonians really want independence. So until they come and tell me exactly why they believe that federation is better than independence for South Ambazonians, they have no leg to stand on. They have no leg to stand on.
Marpe, let's just add that Paul Biya and his government left the federation many years ago.
Absolutely.
And in fact, they seceded. So they weren't interested in it. Why would we bound somebody to something they don't want?
Question. Exactly. These are like some of the things that it baffles me, and I just want to like reiterate that we are not taking this platform to discuss what they are doing so we win people to our side. It is no competition. It is just awareness, fellow Ambazonians, all Ambazonians. We are mothers letting you know that there is this voice that is calling you out there. We wouldn't hesitate to say it's a voice of deception. Because if you ask Ambazonians, following the pains they have undergone through these years, even the least child will tell you that Awame will be our own country. Why will learned men and women just live in deception? Are you so proud that your parents were deceived with we and yes during the voting? Are you so proud that when only Southern Cameroonians were supposed to be asked if they would want to federate with La République, the whole of La République was brought into the show? They were all questioned. They all went through the voting process. Are you so proud of yourself where you are, these learned men and women? Many of their names that we are just calling them like we have bitter leaf in our mouth. It is not fair for your younger ones, for posterity. We cannot just sit here and be deceiving ourselves, deceiving people that you are going for one peace talk in Norway, there's one peace talk in America. Where? How? Organized by who? And they still you join them to lie to your own people that Amazonia is not rich enough to sustain, and yet you have Sonara. Yet you have the rich, our geologists say the earth is rich with all the minerals that we can call.
Minerals.
You learning men and women who are wearing, putting on your robes. Are you not selling that robes? Those graduation robes that you had, you wear them, stand in a public town hall and give wrong messages to the Amazonian people. It is a thing that I am so happy because we have women in the forum. Dr. Ozo, she has the background. She will say it in the register that she is used to in. My patients will say it in her own register. I will say it in my own register. That we are here to convey the message like women. Don't deceive our children. Don't even manipulate the international community for them to ask the question that with whom are we going to talk? They have found a platform in Switzerland, in the Federal Republic of Switzerland. Please, it is not good. I can call your names, all of you here, most of you here, but you will listen to this voice and poke your conscience. Because we are talking here, people listening, they will say that they talk their own. The other one that they talk their own, but my mommy and our papa them, with the one back when I say, and especially mothers, women, we have a platform, Women for Permanent Peace and Justice. Dr. Ozondo explain them fine for the country talk the way they use them for solve that kind of problem there. You don't explain them when I don't hear, I beg. May all women, they all mommy, they all get them. Even man themselves. May una comot. Let's follow the Swiss let talk. For person where no one talk is a Swiss let's talk. Now that place where third party did it. The talk not dey take place for Africa. Dey take place now for white man country. And I think that way all we want and say, may number 3 person did the way make can hear this talk. America don't agree. London don't agree. UK don't agree. Germany don't agree. People that don't agree, EU don't agree. May we not fool ourselves. Or may we not leave some person may fool we. I debate
Rachel.
Yes, ma'am.
So you've already, let me just continue for the same language. You don't talk about women for permanent peace and justice. W, the number 4, PPJ. So on September 20th, it's a Sunday coming up, about 9 days from now. We get a big meeting where all women there where they listen to us. When I'll see the Zoom link, if when I belong to any of these our forums, when I'll see the Zoom link, where you go ask una for join for that important meeting. Basically, if every woman we want this long permanent peace, because we don't get picked away, they don't die all over the place. We don't lose with husbands, with sons, with brothers, and some of our daughters also. If una want say may this palaver end soon, the power for woman be strong. Now we the born picking them, now we the take care of picking them. We get that power where we move mountains.
True.
If we all join, and I'd even appeal to the women the way they're also there for this coalition for dialogue and negotiation, and they appeal to them too. When I cross over, if we really want safe with population, when I can't join force, let's make this to move mountains. So on this Sunday, on that Sunday, the 20th, we'll get guest speakers where they can talk to us about their own experiences, about why war no fine, about why women they get for put their energy for change the course of their own life. They not just shit down for backs and they be woman, men and man picking do anything. No. We be the majority for population. We be 52%. So our voices get for be heard. And we decry peace. We go for walk towards that peace. But I want to make Oma understand, say, when we talk about long-lasting permanent peace, there's only one way to get long-lasting permanent peace, now independence. And this independence be very possible. It be 100% possible if La Republic be frank for can she done for to get genuine language dialogue. These United States senators when they write that resolution, they talk about frank and earnest discussion. If you be frank and you be earnest, what it means say for your heart you want to tell the truth, then you go realize the truth. Say yes, there was something wrong in 1960, 61. More correct them. And if we correct them the right way, the end result now say we will be peaceful neighbors. There's no other way around it. If they really be frank and earnest. And they know so. So all the people the way they support any other form of dialogue or negotiation or all the like, when I join all we women, when we push this agenda so that we know this war will end and then we'll go rebuild our own country ourselves. We'll not push this war for future generations. And may we take care of it right now.
The thing will just vex me for all the team patients. They will say, they say in the affected area. Which affected area? Even United
Absolutely.
Nations said you don't name. How can you just deny your own surname? You just wake up one morning, you just deny your own self. You say
Rachel, let me add something.
In the affected area. I beg you people should help me.
Ma join my voice when it talks. So there's something that if they always give you name, you agree on. Then somebody they control you. If they always pass decree, you the follower. Then somebody they in charge of you. So we don't grow up finally in our old age, because folks, there are many years behind us than it, as we mommy they go talk. Yeah, they don't there for we back plenty than it there for we before. So what's again with the fear? Because we are all looking to see our maker. They don't fool we for this history, we not be with history. In our old age, we don't begin to learn a little bit of that history. And that history, it tell we say we'll be free people. So if somebody is telling you that they go judge this case for where you go forever no go back for fight war. No, you go to fight for go make that person judge am. I just want correct one thing Rachel talk. Say yes, we want peace way there for outside, not be the one way when they tell we for a mouth because it don't fool we all these years. They only give we false peace. Peace for cover we eye. Peace for force we head more they are only down. Peace way na patronage. My person there for that tree, he chop black plum, me say me I go chop and so now that peace I go here. So I just want to correct one thing, say the peace not supposed to take place only for white man in country. If African states, they not be the fear their own shadow, as Nigerian man go say, if I don't talk for this war where they happen for next door, because we have regional actors, we have South Africans, we have Nigerians who are power placed in the international community. We have how many countries now there for Africa? 54, una 55, una 53. Google and tell me. The reason is because every day United Africa Union degree or no degree the country there. If all these president them, some then kingpin for life, otherwise known as president, the one way there for La Republique, if then their compatriot them, they not be the fear their own shadows, because to support against VIA for stand for truth, and most of them don't want. So Africa Union has a role to play in it. Regional actors have a role. You cannot come in the neighborhood and solve a problem and there's a bully there and you don't think you appease them. We are calling on Nigeria that they know the truth. When they told Cameroon in the case over Bakassi, the land that we stand, that God gave us endowed with everything, coffee, oil. Nigeria looked behind the eye and said, I will stop this war provided you take your army and retire it to the barracks at the boundary that you achieved at independence. What does that tell us? That Nigeria quietly expected and know the truth. But right now, we are looking for the levers for them to step in so that they themselves do not create problems internally. So it is for us to show that we have learned, we have matured through this whitewashed history, and today we can do better. But let me leave that subject very much because I just wanted to say if Africa Union and the African countries wanted to mediate this, they would have done so. But what does Lusani Paul of NOCA do of the region? He goes and tells Antonio Guterres how good things are, how the 8 commissions that sat for the grand national come together of CDM implementing and everything is going fine. You see the whitewash is continuing. So we are saying that that narrative does not stand, that we now know the truth. And the truth is that we talk this problem from the bottom until we start the genesis and solve it. But before I take up more time, let me go back to what you asked about women and why someone might be asking, why another group? Isn't there enough of it?
Yeah.
Didn't you say there's fragmentation? Why are you now part of
Yeah.
another group? First of all, I am one of those who is clearly independent when it comes to groups. But the one group that I've said I'm going to step into my truth and stand with my mothers, my sisters. So we advocate from the safety of our homes for our mothers who cannot do and find ways to bring them when it's safe for them so we can augment their voices. Is this coming together of women under the platform called Women for Permanent Peace and Justice, W4PPJ? Yes, another group. But this time, our focus, permit me, my Rachel, to just say what I can, is how women can gain mommy them, how we feel find out how we fit help ourselves so that we fit talk the talk for peace in a way we go get for peace way permanent. Number one. Number two, usually woman voice they no dey hear them. We no dey fight war, we no dey wage war. The war dey meet me and I will pikin there and we dey suffer. Now we house dey burn am. Now we young girls and they out for bush, they no get parts for you. How do we join with voice for all those people that the knack head say that the fight will die, may they make peace and permanent peace now, not 10 years. Number three, how do we come together and learn so that we don't make mistakes where other people will make? The way you did learn for not make mistake where other people did make. Now for look for history waiting happen. So we don't assemble women them around the world. Those then when we fit reach out, touch them in the short period and say, for every woman we want here, this woman be fight war for Colombia, this one be fight on for Palestine, South Sudan, North Sudan. These women, they way now they don't see peace in their own country. They can't cheat on. The one way they don't prosecute war for international criminal court. Where they can't tell we how they see crimes of atrocity and crime where they don't do for woman. Women, the way they don't hold gun, enter bush, fight war for 10 years, go sit down for table for peace, negotiate the peace. They don't form coalition for how women they feel engaged. May they can share that experience. No talk for a manner where you be free for ask questions and learn from them. And finally, they say if you want to go far, go with plenty people. If you want to go fast, go by yourself, you go tire. So these women now will form that network of people the way that they look out for their own good because they understand women bear the brunt of war and they never see the dividends of peace because men spend the time fighting for power and politics. So finally, we simply say, yes, it sounds like we are creating another platform, but women voices have not yet coalesced around one singular objective, absent of group identification, our interest as mothers, our cries as mothers.
Yeah.
Let me just add one sentence, Ma Rachel. Let me just add just one phrase. Is there any mommy, any woman, any girl we no want peace? Can you find any woman out there where you go thrive, where you prefer for thrive in war, I think you will not find anyone like that. So that's why this forum, this format, this umbrella group, where you go bring every woman together for women for permanent peace and justice. It be so important that you cannot just say that not just another group. It bring everybody together, everybody. And we know, say we want that permanent peace we could lead to our independence. And what is better than that? I just want to make that point.
Yes. Thank you, my patience. And me too, I go one add my voice. I just want to add my voice and emphasize that for what I have experienced or for what I have been working through with this group, um, this is a group of women who do not only want to see peace, because when people say there's no war, then there's peace. This peace we are talking about is this peace that we want to see it within the framework of Ambazonia. Ambazonia as homeland. Ambazonia as homeland. Because many of us, we might be getting it wrong to say, why are we bringing, because we the women in this platform, they know the importance of having peace in your own home, peace within your own home, your own country. It is the Amazonia we are looking for that peace within Amazonia, not a peace that will take us to our vomit. Everyone may come and tell you that I am also shouting out here for peace, but it is not that peace to take us back to deception. It is not that peace to take us where our children may say, does it mean that they deceive our great grandparents? Then they deceive our parents, our grandparents, then they still deceive our great grandparents too. Does it really mean that we come from a cursed place? We do not want to live a cursed generation for our children to say, my father was late Dr. Professor. My mother was late Dr. Professor. But at the end of the day, how come that they do not use all the knowledge that they acquire on the way to learn this history and pave a way for us? Because there are some things that we should be going into it psychologically, even to think of it in a layman's platform and say them in layman's language. Is it the kind of history? Is it the kind of background? Many of us say, Pa Foncha be been a grade 2 teacher. Today, me na you na PhD holders, masters, professors, all the academic titles. Then wetin we go tell our pikin dem or grand pikin dem? Abeg una o.
Mariko, you hit on some very interesting points there. How how do you come through successive generations and you repeat the same mistakes? You do the same things, rather, and you hope for different outcomes. We have not had a chance at the table. And you know it, as my friend Patrice Lumumba would say when he takes to the podium. Africa has always been the dinner, not at the dinner table. Ambazonian Southern Cameroonians have always been the dinner people, my dear people. We've never been on the table. We have experienced patronage a lot. We've been given tokenism. We have done window dressing for La République. When do we stand as one man and say, our own dignity is really at stake here? But more importantly, as women are appealing worldwide, we do not wish to give a legacy of false peace to the next generation. We are standing in the gap once and for all. And I say this not from a place of pride, because again, I'm not at the battlefield. Others are. How do we do this so that we can bring them into that table when the time is safe for them? to let the world know how victimized they have, and that any solution moving forward must take them into consideration. That is our job. When one woman is down, as you say, Ma Rachel, we take a rapper. We do not look for distractions, because the men will bring us distractions, and more power to them, because they are fighting for us as well. The trouble is the backroom conversations and the power politics distract us from our peace agenda. So it is interesting you say all of this. Successive generations have had these failed attempts and going over the same ground. We are saying that we know better. Our eyes are open. The whitewashing has to stop, and that we will only bequeath something tangible to the next generation, not falsehoods again. And let me end here by saying that all of this is very timely on our part. Mommy and Papa, them out there. This is the 20th anniversary of the UN's Resolution 1325 that said no peace agenda shall be considered implementable if it leaves behind 52% or 51% of the population that is women. So this roadmap for women, peace and security is an ongoing agenda. Yes, uh, most of us, they wrap our heads around it. It's not, I am an aerospace engineer, I'm not a peace expert, but peace is a language I can speak. Therefore, all of us are experts. We ought to be experts in peace, because mothers, we know the pain of our children. So it's also the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration Platform for Women. So the question we have to be asking ourselves, how far have we come, and what can we do differently? Knowing all and learning all from those who have been before us. So here is our opportunity to shorten this war, save our children, and really stick to the agenda of making the peace happen, but happen such that it is not a whitewash peace like our whitewash history. That is our singular focus. So we put our hands open. And by the way, before I forget, the 20th at 1 p.m., the Women for Peace and Justice, bringing this platform of speakers around the world, fighters, women who have fought wars, women who have prosecuted wars, women who have waged peace, and women who have negotiated peace. So there is something for every woman and every man to come in a safe space, interact and ask questions. But this, let's not forget, is really leading up to commemorating the landmark event of September 22nd, when all Mami and Papa, when I don't see that picture of almost a 100-year-old woman, was it in Muyuka, holding bang. She can barely stand the weight of the world behind her back, matching with her own peace plan and saying, finally, my children, the veil was pulled from your eyes and you're standing up and declaring for the world that, in fact, when you were given independence and robbed of it, you never experienced the fruits of independence. You are standing up, all Mami and Pikinem, to say that we have to start enjoying the fruits of our independence, which is sovereignty. And oh, by the way, people who are oppressed do not get into treaties. It is free people who can negotiate treaties and sovereign people who negotiate treaties. How is it that 60 years to counting, Yaoundé is still telling us what it wishes to decree upon us? Are we really captives? Are we really second-class citizens?
Yeah, Emma, thank you for reminding us. I was just going to say that if all had gone the way we wanted it, this occasion would have taken place itself on that 22nd itself. But we're doing it on a Sunday so that we can have everybody participate. Sunday's September 20th. And again, to remind us that you mentioned, yes, you reminded us that really, or the UN resolution you mentioned, inviting, talking about women's part in peace processes. Our own struggle also came to limelight in September. Uh, so all those are in line. It's like God is just telling us that this month, September, is so important. Um, we will see all those videos, all those pictures that reminded us that something, if something evolved in us, we woke up and said yes, in unison, all over the country, every city, every village, every town, you had women with peace plans. They were not afraid. They were not afraid. And that's how movements begin. And the same women are invited, although they've suffered a lot of pain. Most of them have lost loved ones back there, and also in the diaspora, we've lost loved ones. But that only makes us stronger, more determined to seek peace and justice. There's no peace without justice. So these two go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. We will get our peace and we'll get justice.
Just to add that on September 22nd, there will be the highlight festivities, and this is coming under the direction of the valiant women of the Takamban. So I'm appealing on everybody who believe that that day is monumental for us to also join, and let's remember, particularly those who gave up their lives for simply exercising their freedoms.
Absolutely, and the Takumbung, and you probably will start seeing some maybe flyers with Takumbung women from the IG and from other movements. Takumbung, in the past, were women that came out, that they really came out in their nakedness, and you were cursed to see a woman in her nakedness in those days. These were post-menopausal women, our grandmothers, our mothers. These days, we're taking the name Takumbung as generally younger women. I'm not young, but generally mostly younger women. But we are professing one thing. We are professing peace. That is the symbol of Takumbung, in my opinion, these days, that they stand for peace. And so that's why we respect Takumbung on September 22nd, because they stand for peace, and we are standing for peace and permanent peace and justice.
Yes.
All right.
Ma Rachel?
Yes. There's something I just want to say. You remember this mama that had this peace plant? I remember what she said very well. I will not forget. Dr. Ozon just said it. It just came to my mind, and I said I have to say it. When she held that peace plant, she said, I cannot do the voice. She said, my pikin them,
Yeah.
you fight well, not start and so. Make una not stop this fight. Say that time for 1960, they become fully we. They can't take all the things where there for this our country. They go with them. We suffer so they from the become. He can't talk say it go be na power to the people. We follow you. Now we don't say and say funding at to be man. My picking them. As soon as we fight this fight, so me, I believe this my stick will hold, and so it go make and go win this fight for this. Make una take this country back. Now so that my
I don't believe you remember all that.
No, I remember very well because even when the mama died, time we
she's
were doing
dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, bless her. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I tried to follow up. I got because the niece was one of my classmates. I tried to follow up so that we could get somebody to send something for them that time on ground zero and everything. I remember very well.
Wish you rest in peace. Her blessings are still with us.
I think, yeah.
I just want to follow Rachel, that she said, Mona, take this thing, don't give them up. It reminds me of the great John Lewis, who just passed last month in US, who said, I don't mind getting in a little bit of good trouble. We did not ask for this war. Some of us who have come out from the shadows and refusing to stay afraid, refusing to not have our voices heard. And there are lots of our sisters like that. I can't tell you how many times someone would tell me quietly in the background, I support you, but I'm not going to stand up. And I get it. I get it. War is dirty. Fighting for peace is even more difficult. So I subscribe to Mami, who with her stick, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, rest her soul, and to John Lewis, who says, I am not going to be afraid to get into good trouble. Mama Mida, especially my sisters, our mothers are old. The baton has passed, and we are about to pass it to generation, because you're not looking at spring chickens here. So for that generation, that's our children that really are of the fighting age, the defending age. We are not afraid to get into a little bit of trouble. And we are instilling that value in it that John Lewis said. For those who are listening from other parts of the world, John Lewis was one of those people that is being thought of and remembered after his death, who fought along Martin Luther King during the segregation movement, Jim Crow. He refused to be silenced. He said he must speak up against injustices. I know it's the most difficult ground to stand on. I'm not saying I'm doing this and it's easy. There are days when I wonder if I can sustain. But when I remember those who are sustaining at the barrel of the gun, I am comforted by my own safety and guilt to do even more. So yes, Ma Rachel, Mami's spirit lives. She's egging us each day to stand up when there is injustice and stand in the gap. And the kind of injustice is war. And our voices are now coming up by their thousands. It's just a few weeks ago that we saw this influx of women who say, yes, we'll join the Women for Permanent Peace and Justice. And we only are looking for this to grow and grow and grow, so that it is sooner rather than later that this war is concluded to its logical end.
I just want to read a quote from Rachel. I want to read a quote from John F. Kennedy, and I hope that all women will take this personal. It's about freedom. You talked about freedom earlier. The cost of freedom is very high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender or submission. This I'm saying that all mothers, all women, young and old, of course the older ones will support the younger ones. Let's take this as our own goal to achieve permanent peace, because permanent peace will give us freedom. We should never give up. We should never submit. We can never be the slaves in La Republic and pass that over and over to our generation, to future generations. We cannot do that. We need to leave them a better place than we met. So please join Women for Permanent Peace and Justice. Let's march on to Ambazonia.
Please, my dear sisters, this is a really take-home call. It is a take-home call. In Liberia, the women stood up. In Sierra Leone, the women stood up. In South Africa, the women stood up. In South Sudan, the women stood up. Even in Nigeria, the women stood up. If you look through the histories of the world, we will not go back to First World War, Second World War, the Middle East War, the East European War, the Kosovo, and all those things. The women stood up. And there cannot be war today in Amazonia And then Ambazonian women sit at home, drink their coffee, bodies, drive their booty cars, have their Gucci bags, have their Prada belts. We may have all these things. We should have all of them, but we should not forget home. Our sisters, we are calling us. Let's build this strong front. Together, we will tie that broom. Together, we will tie the coquille. One hand cannot tie bundle. All of
Right.
us, from all walks of life, this platform is for us, women for permanent peace and justice. It is for the Ambazonian fight. It's for Ambazonian homeland. And on the 20th, as we have repeated, there will be a Zoom town hall event. We are all invited. These other women who fought their wars, who are sitting in international platforms, judging things of war, writing all those information, they are coming to share their experience with us and teach us. It is a platform for you and I to be there so that we have something to take home. And then we in the Amazonian circle, these women for justice and permanent peace and justice, we are equally planning for our other women who are suffering, who are really bearing this brunt in this war, having lost their homes, lost their livelihood, lost everything that could make them be proud that this is what I have. On that day, we are still going to do something to remember them. Please, my dear sisters, let's come together that day. The package will be big. Everyone will have a portion, a slice of the cake to add and to equally take home. It is a blessing for all of us to be the ones to put the smiles on homeland Ambazonia. I don't know, my patience, if you have to say something, you will soon be leaving for work. And my Ozone will
Yes.
also say something, then we give our bye bye to our people.
No, I just want to just reiterate what you've said. There's no point repeating. Every woman is invited. Every woman is invited. It doesn't matter whom you pay allegiance to. You should pay allegiance to women more than anybody else because we are together, we are a force to reckon with. So please share the information with all your friends, women in your sphere, that they should come be part of this big movement. And our goal, again, is to achieve permanent, lasting peace in Amazonia and also to have justice for our lost ones.
Thank
I
you.
thank you
Thank you.
all. Long live the Federal Republic of Amazonia. Short live the struggle.
Dr. Ozang, a word for the people, a word.
Mape, thank you for what you do. Thank you for a platform where women can come and have a conversation. You know, as I say, in an environment where we can exchange ideas. This should not only be a platform for like-minded people, because as they say, iron they sharpen iron. And as Hobbes says, when ideas collide, that's when the truth is furnished. Um, Women for Permanent Peace are open to wage peace. You know how they say people wage war? We are waging peace. But there are many women's groups out there who say they are for peace, particularly within the construct of Cameroon. I thank them for their own kind of peace, but I remind them that they are peace that is not going to generate permanent peace. And for that, they are not for our struggle and to see the guns silenced in our land. They do us no favor if they continue on the path of peace decreed by the perpetrator, Mr. Paul Biya, who for 4 years has been killing our families. So their peace is not our kind of peace. Our peace says address the root causes and achieve peace based on justice. Finally, I just want to remind those who can hear my voice that this is important not because it's the first of its kind, but simply for a simple reason. As someone told me, generals are trained in the most elite academies to wage war, to prosecute war, to learn how to fight wars. There are very few academies to train these generals how to wage peace. So we are going to the academy to wage peace. We don't know how, who will pay the tuition. We
Thank
don't
you.
understand the curriculum, but we're willing
Thank
to learn. And we'll learn with partners along the way. And we're inviting everybody.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Dr. Ozong. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, you have been watching The Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman on ABC TV. We are happy today to have had our experts who are here to talk on permanent peace and to encourage women to join this train because the train is already moving. Please hop in, hop on, let's continue the train. And I want to personally appreciate, I'm not a praise singer, but in this case, I want to appreciate our interim government, our first in command, Dr. Sako, for having picked up this vision and know that it is just the right thing to do. And for women in his train to continue talking of peace following the Swiss-led talk, it is a call for concern. Every woman should jump on board. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the ABC TV. Please, we call upon ourselves to continue supporting the ABC TV by being a club member. And there was the fundraising, there was the drafting. If you haven't redeemed your draft, please do so that you could continue having us on ABC TV. And the women are coming up on the 20th of September. The IG humanitarian draft is equally coming up on the 22nd of September, where every other Ambazonia is called up to come and support the humanitarian department to take care of our refugees, our prisoners of war, our internally displaced, our wounded, our maimed, our raped, you can name the rest. We thank you all, fellow viewers, for having been with us, being our guests. We hope to see you next Friday. Have a blessed weekend, and we hope to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma
Thank
Rachel.
you.
Thank you.